Yeah, welcome to Wednesday Wellness. This is something we put together a while back that we created. Really, Ilene, one of her big goals is to help educate people. And I'm excited to have her share with you because one of the things as a physician is that you're always wanting to help people, but you see it through a physician's eyes. You don't see it through a person's eyes that lives it every single day. And Eileen's pretty much raised me over the last 15 plus years. I've worked with her and her family. And I still remember the first day she brought her daughter to me and just how tiny Nicole was. And I've watched this journey now that Nicole is 22. And I'm excited for you guys to hear her story, because whether you have somebody that personally in your life that has been diagnosed with autism, or you know other people, or have you ever seen somebody, there are things that you may not know that exist out there that could in fact have a giant impact on their ability to be seen more. And one thing I've learned from Eileen's daughter is to love deeper. Like, I love her laugh and I love her love. I'm just super excited, Eileen, that you've allowed us to step into your role a little bit tonight and hear you share with us the things that you experienced, the goods, the bad, and the ups and the downs, and just to help us know what we can better do ourselves as we work with somebody, or if we have somebody in our own family that's struggling with this. So please, Eileen, take it away.
All right. Thank you. Hey, good evening, everyone. Like Dr. Brimhall said, I'm Ilene. I'm here in Gilbert, Arizona. I am a mom of 3 kids, and I'm going to share my screen for a couple of photos here and there throughout the presentation. But this is my family. This is what I dreamed of having ever since I was a little girl, of just having a family and traveling with them and being with them. And our world was going just great. And we had this beautiful little baby girl, and she was challenged in growing. And we did not know what was going on. There was so much going on with other things in the family. We were just letting things go and flow the way they were, even though she didn't choose to speak. We would try to help her. And my goal tonight is to actually share with you some nuggets of things that I learned that may help you in your journey with your neurodiverse children or loved ones, because it's been a journey for me, because we didn't know anything about this world at all. So this little angel came into our lives, and she wasn't really developing quickly. And at first we just thought we were bad parents, as she couldn't learn to be potty trained, and she couldn't learn to tie her shoes. And we did all these little things, and we saw that she didn't really do consequences. She didn't understand things. And then, so what we came to realize is that when she was scared or something, you couldn't talk her out of it. She was stuck in that space where she was going to stay intense right there. And so my first advice is that when we respect them for who they are, everybody's happier. And instead of trying to make them, which I picture our children as the square pegs fitting in a round world, you could hammer that as much as you want, and you want to change what they're doing. But working with them instead of forcing them to do what is typical will ease up a lot of pains and challenges in your life. And that's what we have found across our journey. So one of the examples I have is that when she was young, you're supposed to tie your shoes before you go to kindergarten. And we tried to get her to tie her shoes. And it was worthless. It was just hopeless. And so I gave up, and I frustrated mom. I put her in Velcro shoes. They worked great. And one day when she was 8 years old, she sat down on the steps in the house, and she asked how to tie her shoes. And in 5 minutes, she learned how to tie her shoes. Now, I'm an elementary school teacher, and I know all about child development. But see, I kept comparing my child to the developmental things, what she should be doing, instead of respecting her who was on her path. And that brings a lot of tension. It brings a lot of frustration and a lot of heartache, not only for you as the parent, but also for the child. And so what I've come to realize is that when they are ready, they are going to take off, and they are ready. And that is what is amazing. And so another example, and I'm not proud of everything I'm going to be sharing with you guys tonight, but I really want to be honest with you, because I want you to avoid some of the pitfalls and forcing that I did in my journey. So Nicole was in second grade, and we were sitting at the dining room table with this math worksheet. And we would go through the first list, and she was doing fine across. It was like 30 facts on a page. And we did fine through the first 10, but number 11 and number 12, it was driving me crazy. She was just dawdling and putting her head up. And I found myself yelling at my daughter. And I stopped and I looked at myself and I said, oh my gosh, I am yelling at my angel over a piece of paper. And why was I yelling at her over a piece of paper? Because of expectations of school, because of my reputation. If I'm not a good mom, then my kids are bad. My kids get labeled that I'm a bad parent if they don't do well in school. I mean, all of these social things come to your mind, and I let them rule me instead of taking care of this little angel. And I'll tell you, you guys, that day I stopped. I actually called the school and I said, we will give you 10 minutes of homework a night. If she finishes the worksheet, great. If she doesn't, she doesn't. Her second grade teacher would call me every report card period crying. Ilene, I'm so sorry. I have to give her Fs. And it was okay with me. I did not have to have my daughter get A's. She did not earn them the way the school deemed necessary. But what people don't know is that she was learning everything that was going on in that classroom. She just couldn't put it on paper. She absorbed every lesson, every child's actions, but she just couldn't communicate it. And what it did to give her those bad grades, as we well know, is it actually opened doors. It opened doors for the school to be more accommodating for her challenges. And if I had done her homework and I had passed them off and I had done all this stuff so my child got an A so she looked good, she would have been cheated of her education because she wouldn't have had the doors open for her that she needed. And just on that note, people are so caught up with labels. I don't want a label of my child, because if my child gets labeled, that defines them. No, what that label does is it opens doors. So if I'm talking with you about something green and it grows, you're going to think either of grass, a tree, a plant, a leaf, or maybe even a head of lettuce. But if I say there's a tree in my yard, that just defines where the green is. When you say autism or ADHD or any of these other neurodiverse diagnoses, you're just stating where that terminology, which defines that it's a person who has challenges communicating or social skills. And so that's why we want the labels to be able to get the assistance and the help that we need. And that's what's been exciting for me, is to go through this journey and have these realizations to become a better mom. But I want to share with you what really rocked my world, because up until this point, so she was born in 97, and in 2010, I'm not going to do the math in my head right now. I had done supplements with her. I'd taken her to craniosacral, chiropractors. I'd done a whole bunch of therapies with her, and they helped her along her journey, but nothing really catapulted her. And I found this doctor, and his name is Dr. Daniel Amen. You can look him up. And he does what is called a SPECT scan. So doctors use these SPECT scans in the heart and on different organs of your body. And he said, why not use it on the brain? And this is what we've learned from this. And this is what changed my world, and also in interacting with my daughter. So the colors don't mean much. Your brain is obviously colored red, white, and blue, but they also help us interpret the scans. So blue means you have medium activity going on. White means there's a ton of activity, and red is medium activity. So in a neurotypical brain, you can see it's blue. And in the back where we think and process, that's where it's white and red, because that's where we're processing and getting things out. So this is her brain resting. Do you see all the red and the white? And then this is her brain concentrating. It is more intense. There's no wonder that she's more, and we say to these kids, just look at me in the eyes, just sit down and listen to me. If you do that, they are even worse off than if you let them look around and just absorb everything. And that was another lesson I learned. And so ADD, I want you to look at this one because this is the underside of the brain. And in a neurotypical person, this is equal blood flow, right? That's the shape of the brain. This is a person with ADD resting. You can see a hole here, and it's not that there's a hole in their brain. It just means there's lack of blood flow. And then when they concentrate, it's huge. Look at the difference. So when we keep telling these kids to sit still and do all these things in school and at home, we're actually making things more challenging for them and for us. And so those are things that have changed. And so Dr. Amen had his own protocol of what he suggests that you put your kids on. And there was nothing equal to it out there. So I actually put Nicole on those supplements, and they were very expensive, but they were worth it because I was going to do anything I could to help my daughter have her best life. And then I had her on the supplements. Dr. Brimhall also put her on, and that was our life. It was taking supplements and sending her to school and taking supplements and going to bed. And that was okay because you know what? I knew I was doing my best. In fact, I was talking with a mom today with a new 2-year-old diagnosed. And she said, the thing I feel the worst about Ilene is that I wasn't meeting his needs. And I know that feeling when you realize that you have not met the needs of your child to help them be their best. So I'm going to bring this around to full circle here. So what happened over the next few years is Dr. Brimhall introduced us to a new science and a technology, which thrills me because that was the bag that Nicole used to take. It was huge. And this is the new one. So let me tell you what this looks like. So Dr. Brimhall started us on these products on a Friday. Monday, I got an email from her high school teacher saying, Nicole asked 4 questions on topic and interacted with the classroom. And I was like, that's weird, but whatever. Tuesday, she emails me. Wednesday, she emails me. Now I'm really listening because it's not just a flash in the pan. It's actually a cumulative effect that I'm hearing from this teacher about Nicole's behaviors changing at school. And then she emails me Thursday. And then Friday, she says, Mrs. Whipple, I'm not going to email you anymore unless she goes back to the old Nicole. And you know what, you guys, she never did. She has just kept progressing. I've watched her fears, her anxieties just dissipate. I've watched her start to self-advocate. I've watched her voice go from a monotone voice to a voice inflections. It is so exciting because where I thought my daughter was trapped and had a defined future, I don't believe that anymore. And so I want to share a couple more slides with you. And I was hoping to be a little more humorous here, but I'm having anyway. So one of the things that we know at this point in 2021, genetic versus environment, this aha was huge for me, you guys. So it is now believed that 95% of our health is environmentally influenced. That only leaves 5% for genetics. So if that's what we're doing, would you rather do 5% or 95%? This 5%, you can't do much control over, but this 95%, you have a voice. You have a choice of what to do for your child. So environment is your air, your food, and your water, and your emotions, and things like that. So we could dive more into science and do all of this, but that's not, I want to just get on the tip of things so that you can have actions and things that you can do tonight in your own homes to help your child live their best life. Is there something in the home that's irritating them? Is it the dust in the air? Is it the Febreze that you're sticking in the air? Is it a Clorox wipe? What is it? Is it something that this bug spray that you have in your home? Those are things that you need to look at of what is agitating your child and creating that challenge. But I love that we can be in control of this. And so, as you know, there are multiple symptoms that go with a single diagnosis and multiple behaviors. And so this is what I like. As you can see here, we have a circle with sensory, motor, stimming, social skills, rigidity, intense and focused, executive skills, and emotion. All of those vary per child. My daughter's friends, I have one that he's an amazing mathematician, but he can't read past the second grade level. My daughter can read past a 12th grade level, but can't do math past about a 4th grade level efficiently. And so everyone has their own strengths. And why can't we focus on those? Why do we have to make them be something they're not? So this is the other part for anyone who has neurodiversity, whether it be from a traumatic brain injury, from anything else that's happened in your life. The one thing all of us have in common is the brain-gut connection. This is something I've been learning about the last 5 years, and I'm very passionate about it because of what I've been learning. So we all have one thing in common. Whether you're neurodiverse or whether you're not, we all have that brain-gut connection. So healing the gut is huge for helping the brain. So these are the things that I really want to take away from tonight. And I hope that I've shared with you things that you can have some aha moments of ways to move forward and to be able to help not only your child have their best life, but you also with your family. So we start today. What's happened in the past is the past. There's nothing we can change. What caused this? How do I change that? This is what I'm dealing with today. How do I move forward? And so my recommendations are the following. 1, go around your house, clean out those toxic household items and personal care items. And that includes the shampoos and the soaps and the things that we're putting on our body. Next, EMFs. And I didn't touch much on that, but that's the electric magnetic waves that are going through your home every single day, and with your electronics that you're touching with your phone and your iPad and the computer with all this online learning that's going on right now. Nutrition, living foods, reduce the boxed products. If you can, eliminate them. Get some activation going. This is what changed for us, was the activation. And then get that gut getting better and get the brain functioning better, and follow your heart. And I share this because I have a neighbor with a severe autistic boy, and she took him off gluten. She found great results with that. The doctor told her she was crazy. She put him back on gluten. She said, I know that he acts better when he doesn't have it, but the doctor said it was okay. Follow your heart. You live with your child. Don't let other people get in your head of telling you what you should be doing, how you should be disciplining them. They don't live with your child 24/7. You do. You know what's right for your child. You follow that heart and you do what's right for you and your family. And then I'm going to end with 2 last quotes. So I have a 12-year-old piano student who came today, and I asked her, I said, if you could share one thing with my group tonight, what would you want them to know about how you feel about dealing with the world and autism? And Emily said this. She said, I am a person. Let that sink in, you guys. Her only thing she said to me was, I am a person. She looks totally neurotypical. Her brain thinks different. She has so much value to give the world and us. And then my daughter, Nicole, the one thing she said to me, she said, please don't talk down to me. She's 23 years old. She is an adult. She understands things. She interprets them different, but she doesn't want to be talked to like a child. And so anyway, those are the messages I wanted to leave with you guys tonight. I hope you found value in something that I shared. There were so many things to share. And I just want to invite you back. We're going to have 3 more of these autism meetings the next 3 weeks. Next week is Diane and Marco Rodriguez. They own their own clinic and they have their own autistic son. And then the next week is Stephanie Kroon. She is a nutritionist, and she has her own neurodiverse son. And then the last week we have a surprise guest. I'm waiting for a confirmation, and that's why we're not revealing it yet. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and stay after we stop the recording to have question and answers.
So, Eileen, I want to tell you, thank you so much. Just the story you said about those little, and I love how you asked Nicole and the piano student, because it helps me really be aware of how do I show up with them or anybody. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate hearing that. It means a ton to have you share your personal experience, because it helps us understand a lot more. So I really appreciate that. And in summary, all y'all, like literally, we all could be better. But imagine what you're seeing in an individual that has struggled like this when their body starts being activated differently, and the effects that has cumulative over time. Even with the whole idea of her having less sick days at school, that didn't happen overnight.
Right.
It was a while before her body healed to the response in such a way where she didn't react to the environment the same. So to me, I think all of us need the products, right? But to me, I want them, and I want to eat clean. I want to do everything I possibly can to get that edge for myself personally, but also for those individuals that really struggle and they have no other options. They don't even know this is a possibility. And even with Eileen, she literally flew to California to meet that doctor, and that was not cheap. My mom went out there too. But even having the knowledge and having made his own supplements, the difference is when you can turn on the genes, the responses are so much different. So Eileen, thanks for sharing your real life experience and creating this amazing month of individuals that you brought on board to help all of us know how to help each other better. So I'm excited for the rest of the month, but the way to start it off, really appreciate you.
Thank you, you guys.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Thanks for watching, and remember, one change can have an enormous effect. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell and the like, and we'll see you next time on Love to Live.